From Delaware's most award-winning radio news team, this is WDEL Video News. Here's Chris Carl.
Among Delaware's top stories for Friday, March 30th, could John Atkins run for the House seat he just resigned from? Stem cell research wins approval in the state Senate. Musical Hairspray is in town and will wrap up Philly spring training. Here are the details. He's only been out of Dover for a few days, but Millsboro Republican John Atkins isn't ruling out taking a shot at getting back into the State House of Representatives. Atkins tells WGMD Radio that he left office with much work to do, but says the decision on a return to office is one he'll make with his family.
I'm not going to say I will or wouldn't. I don't know how to get on the ballot. I don't know about all the ins and outs about the write-in, but I've got a groundswell of support, and I think what they're saying is the people of the 41st District that know John Atkins is, yeah, he was a knucklehead, and he made some bad decisions back on October 29th, but we're going to give him a second chance if he wants to, and they're encouraging me to run.
Atkins resigned Tuesday following a flap surrounding suspected drunken driving and a domestic dispute that same night last October. Delaware is one step closer to oversight of stem cell research. WDEL legislative correspondent Carl Konevsky reports from Dover.
The state Senate approved legislation designed to regulate regenerative medicine, including adult and embryonic stem cell research. Senators heard scientific, religious, and personal testimony, but Stephanie Hansen, director of Stem Cell Go, a grassroots activist group, says the reason for passage is simple.
It needs to pass because there are many Delawareans who are suffering from diseases that currently lack treatments, that lack cures, and that the majority of the medical and scientific community believe that embryonic stem cell research holds the most promise for treatments and cures for those diseases.
Dr. Gilbert Leidig, an interventional cardiologist, told senators there's no proof that embryonic stem cells will lead to cures, and as a result, physicians may not spend enough time on personal touches.
If we focus almost too much on cures that might at this point almost be fantasy or theory and get away from what we can do is hand-holding, hands-on, caring physicians, we're losing a lot of what we can do for patients.
Similar legislation passed the Senate in the past, but hasn't been successful in the House. Reporting from Legislative Hall in Dover, I'm Carl Konevsky, 1150 AM, WDEL.
2 of the 32 people named in the Pagans Motorcycle Club indictment pleaded guilty yesterday and were sentenced to probation. 38-year-old James Riley pleaded guilty to maintaining a dwelling for drugs, a felony, and was sentenced to a year of probation. 27-year-old Catherine Stapleford pleaded guilty to third-degree conspiracy, a misdemeanor. She was sentenced to 6 months probation. A 160-count indictment named 32 people after a year-and-a-half-long investigation into the Pagans found a number of different drugs and weapons. An effort to keep closer tabs on sex offenders. That story coming up as WDEL News continues in a moment.
You could spend your money at the gas pump, or you could spend it on those sexy pumps at your favorite store. Let DART do the driving. Travel smart. Choose DART.
Delaware is in line to become the second state in the nation to tighten registration requirements for sex offenders. WDEL's Carl Konevsky reports.
State Senator Patty Blevins and House Speaker Terry Spence joined Attorney General Beau Biden to announce the introduction of Delaware's versions of the Adam Walsh Act, a bill named for the 6-year-old Florida boy kidnapped from a department store and killed almost 26 years ago. The bill cuts the time a sex offender has to register with police and also forces him or her to do so in person. Biden says passage will send a strong message.
Whether you're a possessor of child pornography or you're enticing children online or harming children in any way, shape, or form, or have done so in the past, the state of Delaware, unified from the governor, the General Assembly, our men and women in uniform, and the Department of Justice, we are going to come and find you and track you down and keep track of you.
Blevins and Spence promised quick action on the bill, which will enable the state to pick up additional federal funding for the program and join Mississippi as the only other state with the law on its books.
A Bear couple's charged with child abuse after school officials found injuries on their 2 kids. County police say a social worker found signs of abuse on the children's backs, faces, and arms. Janice Palmer Marks and Nathaniel Marks are charged with abusing the kids and a 3rd sibling for allegedly beating the 3 boys with belts, brooms, and phone cords. Where does Delaware rank when it comes to teachers' salaries? According to the American Federation of Teachers, the first state ranks number 10 for average teacher pay at $52,000 annually, compared to the national average of $47,000. The report ranked Delaware 7th in the nation for new teacher pay at more than $35,000 a year. The Tony Award-winning musical Hairspray completes its run in Wilmington this weekend. WDEL's John Collins talks to one of the show's stars in this week's WDEL Delaware scene.
The acclaimed musical Hairspray made its Wilmington debut on Tuesday night at the DuPont Theater. Ariana Andres plays 3 characters in the show. She says that can make wardrobe pretty interesting.
The wigs are so much fun, and every time I get a new wig, usually I'm in a different character. So it allows me to be like different costume, different wig, different person.
The show is colorful, energetic, and hilarious, but doesn't shy away from confronting some serious issues of prejudice.
And I'm excited by the fact that in this show, towards the end, the people who are the bigots in the show, they come around, they see it. I mean, it's musical theater, and they kind of tie it up with a nice bow. And
as for her favorite musical number, Andres says Can't Stop the Beat takes #1 spot.
But the whole show really has great, catchy music, and I hear it, twice a day usually, if not more, and I don't get sick of it. It's a great show. It's really well put together.
I'm John Collins with your WDEL Delaware scene.
The Phils break camp in Florida to head north. WDEL Sports and your weekend Delaware AccuWeather forecast coming up.
Looking to gain an edge in the technology or design field? Wilmington College's Division of Information Technology and Advanced Communications offers state-of-the-art facilities equipped with the latest tools. Achieve balance, achieve success.
WDEL Sports, the Phillies ended spring training with a 5-5 tie against the Pirates. Some good news, though. Ryan Howard, who has struggled this spring, homered. With more from Florida, here's WDEL's Don Volz.
The 2007 Philadelphia Phillies spent their spring training where they have for the past 61 years, in Clearwater, Florida. Robin Bryson and I joined them for the last week. 6 games in 6 days in 4 different ballparks. 5 ballparks if you count Jack Russell Stadium, the Phillies' home for 47 years. We stopped by on Saturday to find it alive and well. We were in Florida less than 24 hours when we headed south to Sarasota to see the Phils take on Cincinnati. Our first day in Florida was absolutely beautiful, but the Phillies lost 7-0. We had to cross over what looked like an oversized Route 1 bridge, the famous Sunshine Skyway Bridge. The water's a lot cleaner than the C&D Canal. We'd visit 2 other opponents' parks before the week was out. Legends Field in Tampa, the home of the New York Yankees, built to look like a mini Yankee Stadium. And McKechnie Field in Bradenton, the longtime home of the Pittsburgh Pirates, a stadium that has no lights. All of the ballparks were nice, but none could compare to the Phillies' home, Bright House Networks Field. It's only 3 years old and has so many unique features, like the sign declaring Whale Beach, where media credentials are required in honor of many of Philadelphia's finest sports writers. Signs for local attractions. How about that? They're all restaurants. And the world-famous Frenchie's Tiki Bar in left field. One of the more notable features at the ballpark was a tribute in the third base coaching box to former Phillies coach John Vukovich, who recently passed away. And then there was the baseball. We watched more batting practice than we'd ever seen before. And when it was over, Charlie Manuel obliged some of his fans. We watched the Phillies win and we watched the Phillies lose, but always before record-setting crowds in ideal weather conditions. More than 121,000 fans turned out in 2007 to Bright House Networks Field to see the Phillies in their spring training games. Yes, there was work involved. Here I am writing something important, and here I am on what was obviously a very important phone call. There were some things that reminded us of Delaware, like this traffic jam in Tampa. It's a good thing I had Robin Bryson with me. And we ate. Of course, we ate at Lenny's for the best breakfast in Clearwater, not to mention some other notable restaurants during the week. But all good things come to an end. After 6 games in 6 days and very little sleep, the sun finally set on our stay at Philly spring training. In Clearwater, with Robin Bryson, Don Volz, 1150 AM, WDEL.
Your WDEL Delaware AccuWeather forecast, mostly sunny today, high 64. Clear skies tonight, lows 31 in the suburbs, 37 downtown. For Saturday, sunshine mixing with clouds, a high 60. And cooler for Sunday with clouds and a bit of rain or drizzle, the high of 51. Get news updates throughout the day. Delaware's top stories at the top of the hour on 1150 AM, WDEL, or anytime right here at WDEL.com. Including news video from Delaware and around the world from WDEL and the Associated Press. I'm Chris Carl. Have a great weekend, and thanks for watching.